Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. It's scary, it's sad, but it's true and confirmed by an MRI scan. Star Jimmy Butler is out for the season and Warriors fans are sad, and rightfully so. Butler had a perfect fit with Stephen Curry and currently has no replacement for him on the Warriors roster. The Golden State Warriors received the worst possible news on Jimmy Butler's knee injury. Butler suffered a torn right ACL in Monday's 135-112 win over the Miami Heat, according to ESPN's Shams Charania. His season is over. The six-time All-Star went down in the third quarter at Chase Center after catching a contested pass in the paint. Butler landed awkwardly on his right leg and fell to the ground after contact from Davion Mitchell drew a foul. Butler immediately clutched his right knee and screamed in pain. Head coach Steve Kerr called a timeout to check on him as Butler arrived on the court near the baseline. Teammates Buddy Hield and Gary Payton II helped Butler off the floor. He was unable to put any weight on his right foot as he made his way to the tunnel. The Warriors ruled Butler out for the game shortly after he left the court. The team announced he would undergo an MRI but did not reveal any information about the severity of the injury at the time. Charania's report of Butler's ACL tear broke overnight, hours after the conclusion of Monday's game. How Jimmy Butler got injured during the Warriors' win. Butler was playing well before the injury occurred. He had 17 points on 6 of 11 shooting, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals in 21 minutes. Golden State was building a comfortable lead, and Butler was contributing on both ends of the floor. The injury happened midway through the third quarter. Butler caught a pass in the paint and went up for a shot. Mitchell made contact, drawing a foul, but Butler landed awkwardly on his right leg. His knee buckled, and he collapsed immediately. The Chase Center crowd went silent. Butler immediately grabbed his knee in visible pain. Medical staff rushed over to examine him while Kerr called a timeout. After several minutes on the floor, Butler was helped to the locker room. He could not put any weight on his right leg, which raised immediate concerns about ligament damage. Stephen Curry addressed the injury after the game. "I haven't talked to him since the game, but you never like to see a situation like that, especially somebody as tough as he is," Curry said. "Praying for the best, obviously with scans and all that. Hopefully, he is all right." Kerr described the locker room as subdued after the game. "We're all concerned," Kerr said. Subdued. Waiting to hear the news. The MRI confirmed the worst-case scenario, a torn ACL that will end Butler's season. Jimmy Butler's history with knee injuries. This is not the first time Butler has suffered a significant injury to his right knee. He tore his meniscus in 2018 while playing for the Minnesota Timberwolves. That injury cost him several weeks but did not require season-ending surgery. Butler also sprained his MCL in 2024 while with the Heat, an injury that sidelined him for multiple games. Now, at 36 years old, Butler faces the most serious injury of his career. ACL tears typically require 9 to 12 months of recovery, which means Butler will likely miss the start of the 2026-27 season as well. The question now is whether Butler can return to the same level of play after such a devastating injury. ACL tears are difficult for any player to come back from, but they are especially challenging for older players who rely on athleticism and explosiveness. Butler has built his career on toughness and resilience. He has overcome adversity throughout his life and has repeatedly proven doubters wrong. But a torn ACL at 36 years old is a different challenge entirely. The recovery process will be long and grueling. Butler will need to rehab for months before he can even think about returning to the court. And even then, there is no guarantee he will be the same player. What Butler's ACL tear means for the Warriors season: losing Butler is a devastating blow for Golden State. Butler is in his second season with the Warriors after being acquired in a mid-season trade from the Heat in 2024-25. The Warriors brought him in to help compete for another championship during the back end of Curry's prime. Butler has delivered on that promise. Through 37 games this season, he was averaging 20.1 points, 5.6 rebounds, 4.9 assists, and 1.4 steals while shooting 51.9% from the field and 38.1% from three-point range. He has been the Warriors' second leading scorer behind Curry and has provided elite two-way impact on both ends of the floor. Curry, meanwhile, is averaging 27.6 points per game and leads the league for an 11th time with 4.5 made threes per game. He was named an All-Star starter earlier Monday. With Butler and Curry leading the way, the Warriors have climbed to 25-19 and hold the 8th seed in the Western Conference. Golden State was finally finding its rhythm after a slow start to the season. The team had won 3 straight games heading into Monday and was playing some of its best basketball of the year. Butler's ACL tear projects to end any realistic hope of Golden State competing for a championship this season. The Warriors will need others to step up in Butler's absence. Draymond Green will shoulder more of the playmaking and defensive responsibilities. DeAnthony Melton and Brandon Podziemski will likely see increased minutes. Curry will be asked to carry even more of the offensive load. But none of those adjustments can replace what Butler brings. The Warriors are a significantly worse team without him, and their playoff hopes have taken a major hit. Golden State's championship hopes take a major hit. The Warriors acquired Butler to compete for a championship. Golden State traded significant assets to bring him in, including Andrew Wiggins and a 2025 first-round pick. The move was designed to maximize Curry's remaining prime years and give the Warriors one more chance to win a title. For a season and a half, the partnership worked. Butler provided scoring, playmaking, and elite defense. Curry continued to play at an MVP level. The Warriors remained competitive in a loaded Western Conference. Now, that championship window has likely slammed shut. Butler's ACL tear removes the Warriors' second-best player and one of the league's premier two-way stars. Golden State does not have the depth or talent to overcome losing a player of Butler's caliber. The Warriors were already facing an uphill battle to compete with teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder, Denver Nuggets, and San Antonio Spurs. Without Butler, that challenge becomes insurmountable. The Warriors will continue to fight for a playoff spot. Curry is still capable of carrying the offense on any given night. Green remains one of the league's best defensive players. The supporting cast has shown flashes of competence throughout the season. But competing for a championship without Butler is unrealistic. The Warriors know that. The front office knows that. And the players know that. Final word for the Warriors. Jimmy Butler's season is over. The torn ACL he suffered Monday night ends his year and deals a devastating blow to the Warriors' championship hopes. Butler was playing some of the best basketball of his career at 36 years old, and now he faces a long and uncertain recovery. For the Warriors, the loss is catastrophic. Golden State brought Butler in to compete for titles during Curry's remaining prime years. Now, that plan is in ruins. The Warriors will fight to make the playoffs, but their realistic championship aspirations are gone. Butler's injury also raises questions about his future. ACL tears are difficult for any player to overcome. But they are especially challenging for older players. Butler will be 37 years old by the time he is fully recovered, and there is no guarantee he will return to the same level of play. For now, the Warriors must regroup and figure out how to move forward without their second-best player. Curry will need to carry more of the load. Green will need to lead the defense. And the supporting cast will need to step up in ways they have not been asked to all season. The Warriors' season is not over. But their championship dreams likely are. Warriors' title chances take major blow as Jimmy Butler tears ACL. Article: Jimmy Butler's resurgence season with the Golden State Warriors comes to a sudden and devastating halt after Monday night. The Golden State Warriors were able to cruise past the Miami Heat, 135-112, securing its 12th win in 16 games. But the result fades quickly as a non-contact injury unfolds midway through the third quarter. Butler collapses to the floor in visible pain after his right knee buckles. He requires assistance to leave the court and cannot put weight on his leg. Hours later, the worst-case scenario becomes reality. Butler suffers a torn right ACL and will miss the remainder of the 2025-26 NBA season. A season-ending blow at the peak of a resurgence. The timing feels especially cruel. Butler is in the midst of his first full season with Golden State following last February's blockbuster trade, and he remains the driving force behind the Warriors' late-season push. At 36, he plays some of the most efficient basketball of his career. Through Monday night, Butler averages 20.1 points, 5.8 rebounds, 4.9 assists, and 1.2 steals per game. He shoots 51.9% from the floor and 38.1% from three while leading the team comfortably in plus-minus. His impact extends far beyond the box score, stabilizing rotations, closing games, and redefining Golden State's identity on both ends of the floor. The Warriors' recent surge does not happen by accident. Butler consistently turns close losses into wins and injects an edge that reshapes the team's season. With his injury, whatever slim postseason hopes remain now feel extinguished. More, Jalen Williams' injury news could ruin Thunder's title defense hopes. Recovery timeline and organizational questions ahead. ACL recoveries typically range from 11 to 13 months. Golden State understands that timeline well, as DeAnthony Melton returns earlier this season just shy of 13 months after ACL surgery. Butler's situation, however, carries added complexity. This marks his third serious injury to the same knee, and age becomes an unavoidable factor. A return sometime after the 2027 All-Star break appears realistic if the organization prioritizes caution. Beyond rehabilitation, another question looms: Butler's contract. His deal now represents a major financial inflection point. Butler's contract is worth $54.1 million for this reason and escalates to a hefty price: $56.8 million for his age 37 season. If the Warriors wait until the offseason, the contract becomes expiring and carries potential trade value. Those conversations come later. More, former All-Star says LeBron James won't finish his career with the Lakers for now. The Warriors must figure out how they look to navigate through the rest of the season without their second most talented perimeter player at the helm. With the looming questions around the future of Jonathan Kuminga and trade rumors around players like Dallas Mavericks center Anthony Davis and Brooklyn Nets forward Michael Porter Jr., it may be imminent that Golden State makes a move ahead of the deadline. Whether that move is enough to make up for the loss of Butler is something only time will tell. Or maybe the Warriors will simply see this as a lost season and not make a move at all. Nonetheless, this is a huge blow to a Golden State team that is running out of time to make one last run at a title with Stephen Curry at the helm. Takeaways from Warriors win over Heat: Butler injury could change everything. Moody, Pods and Hield also featured in Monday's takeaways. After Jimmy Butler left the game with a knee injury, the Golden State Warriors, 25-19, surprisingly pulled away from the Miami Heat, 22-21, winning 135-112 on Monday at Chase Center. Brandon Podziemski had a game-high 24 points. Stephen Curry added 19 points and 11 assists. The Warriors made 24 threes, their fourth consecutive game with at least 20 threes. Here are 3 takeaways from Golden State's win. Butler injury could change everything. If Butler suffered a season-ending injury, everything changes for this Warriors team. There would be no reason to give up any draft capital for a significant upgrade. They'll have no chance to compete for a championship without him. Some will speculate that they will try to get Jonathan Kuminga back into the rotation. I believe that ship has sailed, but what they are targeting for him in a trade would change dramatically. Trades that bring back even young, raw players with high potential, like Kuminga himself, make much more sense now. I doubt the Warriors become sellers at the deadline. As long as Stephen Curry is on the team, it makes no sense to tank. But if the Warriors decided to sell, DeAnthony Melton would be coveted. I know I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll see what the MRI says about Butler's injury. But assuming it is as bad as it looked, it's a season-killing injury. Pods, Moody look like they've turned a corner. The irony of the Butler injury is this team was finally playing to its potential, and a big reason for that was Brandon Podziemski and Moses Moody. Pods was brilliant, scoring 24 points in a variety of ways. He made deep threes as well as driving finishes in traffic. Moody had 13 with 3 threes, but what stood out was his defense. He had 3 steals and was disruptive on that end the whole game. Buddy, get ready for rotation minutes. Buddy Hield had played under 20 minutes in 10 of his last 11 games. He was essentially out of the rotation. Now, he has his bench scoring role back. Hield had 16 points on 6 of 9 shooting in 23 minutes Monday. The Warriors surely know that Hield's defense often hurts the team more than his offense lifts it. Entering Monday, the Warriors were 10.3 points per 100 possessions worse on defense with Hield on the floor, per cleaning the glass. But Steve Kerr has to live with the defensive lapses in search of what Hield did against the Heat. How Steph Curry reacted to Jimmy Butler's torn ACL injury. Stephen Curry's reaction to Jimmy Butler's devastating ACL injury has gone viral, capturing the empathy and leadership that define the Warriors star. Butler's injury came as a major blow during Golden State's 135-112 win over the Chicago Bulls, sending shockwaves through the team and its fans. Curry, who has shared the court with Butler since his move to the Warriors, spoke with heartfelt words after the game. Butler went down clutching his left knee midway through the second quarter after driving to the basket. The Chase Center quickly fell silent as he was helped off the floor, and initial tests later confirmed a torn ACL. The injury has not only sidelined one of Golden State's fiercest competitors but also tested the team's resolve during a crucial part of the season. Steph Curry's heartfelt reaction to Jimmy Butler's injury. After the win, Curry addressed reporters, offering both compassion and respect for his injured teammate. His reaction perfectly captured the emotional weight of the moment and the admiration he holds for Butler's toughness. "I haven't talked to him since the game, but you never like to see a situation like that, especially somebody as tough as he is," Curry said. "Praying for the best, obviously with scans and all that. Hopefully, he is all right." Despite the difficult night, Curry's tone reflected confidence in Butler's resilience. The two have built a close bond since Butler joined the Warriors, and Curry's words underscored the respect that runs deep within the team's locker room. Golden State Warriors face an uphill battle without Jimmy Butler. Butler's absence presents both an emotional and tactical challenge for Golden State. He has been a cornerstone of their defensive system, bringing energy, leadership, and grit to a roster built on experience and adaptability. Reuniting with familiar faces is the easiest way to ensure a player's fit with a particular organization is ideal. While the Golden State Warriors could go a different route this trade season, Blue Man Hoops' Peter O'Keefe is a firm believer that reuniting with a beloved NBA champion forward via a Jonathan Kuminga-centered trade is the wisest option for the Dubs. Warriors could reunite with Andrew Wiggins in Jonathan Kuminga trade, O'Keefe wrote last Friday. Wiggins has a player option for $30.2 million next season, and assuredly wouldn't cost multiple first-round picks like you'd have to give up for prominent names like Trey Murphy III and Michael Porter Jr. There's also less risk for the Warriors because they know exactly how Wiggins fits in their system, having been a productive and valuable piece for 5 years, and most notably as arguably their second-best player in the 2022 championship-winning season. Wiggins isn't in a miserable situation with the Heat this season. Despite playing inconsistent basketball in the first half of the year, the franchise boasts a 22-20 record and could reach the postseason without having to compete in the play-in tournament. Still, returning to the Dubs this season would raise Wiggins' championship hopes and give the Kansas product a chance to occupy a more significant offense role. He would be a top 3 scoring option with Golden State right now versus a number 3 to 4 scoring option with the Heat. The great part about it all is that acquiring Wiggins from the Heat wouldn't be terribly difficult for the Dubs. Assuming Miami would value Kuminga as a valuable rebuilding piece, a deal could easily come to fruition before the February 5 trade deadline. A Wiggins reunion is on the table for the Dubs, at the very least.